Hey, moral gamers, are you afraid of the water? Why not try controlling the water? It's Hydrophobia for the PlayStation Network and Xbox 360. This game is actually not about being afraid of the water, but rather it's about embracing the water. Malthusian terrorists are taking over a vessel which is submerged and used as a research facility. Their goal seems at first to destroy the research, but later on turns out to be they want to harvest it and use it as a weapon. You're a local engineer, and you are trying to keep the vessel from taking on too much water. Life turns out strange, so you get a gun and end up having to fight back to the terrorist, or you die yourself. Personally, I'd fight back. You stand a better chance of living if you fight. If you're a Gears of War fan, the play in this game is going to be very familiar. It's a cover system, which means that you have to duck behind objects, blocks, round corridor corners, whatever it takes to keep you out of the line of fire. You fire when you have an opening, you can blind fire, or you can remove yourself from cover momentarily. Whichever you prefer. The difference is you have more stability when you're aiming and you're not undercover, whereas blind firing, you have less accuracy. I mean, for this game, it works rather well. I mean, there's no problems here with the combat system, at least none that I experienced. Another facet you should know about this game is you will be doing a lot of swimming. The vessel you're on is, of course, sinking, therefore, anytime water comes in, you gotta swim from place to place. Now, you can do your normal strokes, or by holding the action button, you can actually do power strokes, which just make you swim a little bit faster, and it doesn't deplete your oxygen bars quickly. Which, by the way, you are not a fish, so you will have to come up for air every now and again. So, as with other games, this game promises you power beyond those of mortal men. In this case, the nanites get infused into you, and you have the ability to control water. Now, when I first thought this, I'm thinking, yeah, water bending. I'm just like Avatar now. Take that, Katara. But back up a moment. It's not quite that glory. What it is you can get a dumbed-down version of telekinesis. So long as an object is underneath water, you can actually cause the water to rise up, and then you can move it around a little bit. It seemed better on paper than it actually is in execution. And I find that the control to move items around is very finicky. Aiming to make sure that you're getting something that's further out takes a little bit of practice. In fact, you're going to be using the triggers a lot, so you want to apply pressure slowly so you're only moving the water slightly. As soon as you get under a good-sized box or something like that, like you see in this puzzle, then you'll be able to lift it up and actually pull it toward you. You can also pick up enemies and throw them, which seems like fun, but unless you're in the challenge mode, which we'll discuss in a moment here, it's not that useful. Hydrophobia seems like a good game at first. In fact, I was building up, and getting more and more interested. It started out slow, but the problem that suffers this game so much is that it's the biggest tease you'll ever find. It builds up, and by the time you finally get your powers in the third act, you're just interested and you want to try this out. You want to see how useful it can be, where they can go from there. But alas, what they end up doing is they throw you into a boss battle, and that's pretty much the end of the game right there in Act 3. Since this game is pretty short, they added a challenge mode, which is unlocked after you defeat the final boss in Act 3. Challenge mode basically puts you in a room, gives you all your hydro powers, and allows you to defeat enemies as they come in waves. Now, it may seem like horde mode or something where you'd have endless enemies, but the truth is that challenge mode does have a definitive end. There's a trophy for beating it, which I think is about 20 waves. So it's not too terribly long, and it's not something that's really going to engage you. You have your powers, you can use them, you can throw crates at people, you can throw people at people, but ultimately it's just a way to continue playing the game until a sequel or something else of more value comes out. The game does not currently have any downloadable content, so I'm not sure what their long-term plan is for this title. So is Hydrophobia the right game for you? I would say no. The game does a very good job when it comes to the water effects. I mean, some of the most beautiful water I've seen in any title, period. But I drink water, so that's not enough for me to make a game worth paying the $10. It's short, It's not very sweet, and by the time you get into it, you're wanting so much more than what's there that the game just utterly disappoints you. I'm hoping they release a sequel to this title, which is a bit longer of a game. I mean, getting your hydro powers at the very end of a title, at the very end, getting your special powers, makes it seem like, really? I waited all this time for that? No. As a parent, I would not let my kids play this game. While the game for the most part is clean, you are going to be killing other humans, which it's self-defense. It's somewhat like a war game. Granted, I don't personally have much issue with that. The problem I have mostly is that this game contains a lot of swearing. It has more than enough profanity to teach my kids a few words that even I wasn't using. So that being said, it's not a good one. I would stick it on your red list and shuffle that one away.